The college football experience, week 11 preview and picks DFS style for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Both slates on Saturday episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Bet365. Bet365 is offering new users $1,000 risk-free bet. Sign up today, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bet365. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today, people. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time has last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. Use the promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. And remember, as always, folks, too, let it ride.
This is Jerry Glanville, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother.
Welcome to the College Football Experience DFS show for week 11. Thursday, Friday, both slates Saturday. We're going through it all, folks. And I can't help but enjoy that Jerry Glanville introduction as I saw them on the local Ohio news talking about the school systems.
I didn't hear that, but I'd like to.
I'll have to send it to you. He was walking across. It's like the news just grabbed a guy walking to the liquor store. And it happened to be Jerry Glanville.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Shout out to.
I'd be interested in his opinion on pretty much anything. So I would like to hear it.
Yeah, I'll make sure I retweet it and send it to you. Shout out to our friend Jerry Glanville for getting some shine on the nightly news. Doing some. I saw someone else on Twitter. I don't know who they are, but they did a great job saying great coach speak regarding the. They subtweeted it and said, great coach speak regarding the school system in Ohio. Folks, if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging, Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Oh, yes. It's time for some DFS. Got a feeling I'm going to beat the tar out of all you. We invite you to come play, but just know.
A couple sharps over here.
I'm taking your $4, $3, $5, whatever the fuck it is. All right.
And you're gonna talk some shit afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Your wife's gonna be asking, "What's this $5 transaction?"
Who's this Pick Dundee guy? Sounds
he
hot.
keeps taking $5 for you every week. Look, I am joined by my co-host, the DFS god himself. We invite you to come play DFS with us. We're not really trying to take your money, but if I do, I will talk shit about it. Give it up for the rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free lock giving. Former Hunter Basketball League MVP. Give it over NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go. What's going on, man? What's the one lyric there? He's a what?
Quarterback sacker.
No, before that. It sounds like he's a honky.
No, he's a hawk because he's on the Seahawks.
Oh, okay. A ball hawk?
Yeah. He's
a
the
hawk.
Seahawk or a
Okay.
ball hawk, one of the two.
I never understood exactly what they were saying. It sounds like honky kind of, but I guess that would fit as well.
It is deep poetry, and they should probably put that in the Smithsonian. If it was up to me, you know how they put these classic songs that you can see. Me and Patty C actually went on a deep dive. What's that song? She's my cherry pie.
Mm-hmm.
That song is in the fucking Smithsonian. It's like that guy probably wrote that on the shitter. You know what I mean? I'm like that is not deep plagiarism.
No, that's like
a
redneck strip club song.
Yeah. I love how you got like all these great songs. You got fucking Marvin Gaye. You know, you got
the Beatles,
like the Beatles, and then you she's my cherry pie. What's next? Smoking in the boys' room.
Yeah. What the 80s hair band sang that again? Do you know?
What, Smoking in the boys' room or She's My Cherry Pie?
Either one.
Well, Smoking in the boys' room, I think is Motley Crue. She's My Cherry Pie is hold on. Let me make sure. Warrant is the band. I believe
they were a one-hit wonder, right? It's a hell of a one-hit though.
They're not Europe, all right, or Europe or whatever the fuck. But anyway, if you get a chance, check out "She's My Cherry Pie" at the Smithsonian. Thank me later.
I didn't know they had a wing about music, but anyway, yeah, here we are. Come on, what are we doing? DFS.
Yeah,
right?
Bob Dylan's in there. You can hear a great song from Bob Dylan, and then go right over to "She's My Cherry Pie." You know, they say it changed America. It changed America. You know, like it made us think. Like, you know, a change may come by Sam Cooke. You know, where it's talking about a change. You know that changed America, but I don't know if it changed as much as "She's My Cherry Pie."
I mean, they're sitting on the dock of the bay, classic, and then there's cherry pie.
Folks, I know you came for the DFS talk, and you're somehow caught in this Smithsonian music chat, but
that music video had to have like a woman on like the hood of a car or something, right?
Yeah, it was like Pam Anderson before Pam Anderson.
Yeah.
Like it had the puffy hair,
Yeah.
but like had to be blonde, had to
Of
be
course.
as like biggest hits they could find, and yeah. Folks, if you get a chance, and I don't even know that I have seen that music video. I'm just guessing.
I'm sure I've had at some point, but
there's definitely a smoke machine in that music video. I guarantee you. Folks, let's get to it. But before we get to it, I want to tell you that the College Football Experience Week 11 DFS Previewed Picks episode for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is brought to you by Bet365. Bet365 is the world's favorite sportsbook, trusted by over 88 million players worldwide. Props, sides, totals, live betting. Bet365 has you covered. And if you like boost, you're going to love Bet365. It's like a 30% profit boost on your NFL same game parlay. Plus, they even have an early payout offer if your team goes up 17 points. Sign up today. Choose between two bonus offers, either a $1,000 first bet safety net or bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets. Just head to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bet365. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bet365. Problem with gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Look, I mean, this is always fantastic. Underdog Fantasy is a way to play alongside your favorite fantasy players all season long. NFL, NBA, NHL, college basketball, college football. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player's stat projection and cash in. I know last night we were on a player for Mississippi State who surprisingly only got about 10 minutes. So we were on the over, so he didn't get in. Kind of had a roster shakeup. But my point is there's always an opportunity. And I really think Underdog does a great job on this. So watch along, make picks, and maybe make a little extra cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. When you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. All right, we are back on the College Football Experience DFS show. Shout out to the chat. Remember, you can watch this youtube.com/the College Experience. Track stars in there saying, lock them up, Dundee. Yes, let's go.
Go ahead, you do it.
Yeah, there we go. There we go right there. as we were both clicking the same button at the same time. Let's jump into Thursday night's action.
Before we do, quick recap. I know we got to move this show along quickly here today. We only have so much time, but Tuesday night, Trash Man, 70 wins. You won the side bet because you trapped me in a corner here. Lombardi beats Roark, even though both quarterbacks had shitty games.
What's the lesson you learned here?
Never fade a Lombardi.
Never fade a Lombardi. Let's go. I
guess you learned that lesson the week before when I had him in a lock battle. But the reason why my lineup, I finished third. I think I would have been in the money. But Sam Wiglu's, like I didn't see him playing. I only saw the fourth quarter of that game. Apparently, he had 2 targets. I don't know if he got hurt or, I mean, in general, that Ohio offense just kind of sucks. But anyway.
What happened to that offense? They were fire last year.
I haven't watched it enough to be able to offer like a good opinion as to what happened because
I think Rourke looks unhealthy. Like he doesn't look like fully there.
True. And they returned, I mean, all the skill position guys, most of the O-line. I don't know what the issue is, but that's the only thing I can think of. Yeah. Wednesday night, our guy Alan Cooley won. I took you down in the side bet here because you didn't learn your lesson from last week. You went Odu Hilaire, the Bowling Green receiver who had 2 for 29.
I'm telling you, he must have fucked the coach's daughter or something because he's very good. They just don't put him in the game. Something's up. Something's up.
You know, in order to produce fantasy wise, you have to be in the game. So that's of course, I went with the tight end Harold Fannin Jr., who had another really nice game, 4 for 92 and a touchdown. So we're all even on side bets going into Thursday, and that catches us up. And Thursday night, what we got?
Well, we got just 2 games. That unfortunately, just 2 games. Did a bad job of this. If they really wanted to, they could have put ECU and FAU on this Thursday. I think it would have been better for both schools. But shout out to the chat. Courtney Joe says Dundee, the funniest guy on YouTube with these sports and all of your homies that you have on the show. I appreciate you, Courtney Joe, man. Appreciate you. And shout out to James S. and Robert Martin says he's checking in from Winnipeg.
There we go.
Yeah. Huge game for the Blue Bombers this weekend as they take on the BC Lions with a ticket, trying to punch a ticket to the Grey Cup.
All right. So Thursday we got UVA at Louisville with an over/under 50.5 with Louisville favored by 20, and you got Southern Miss at Louisiana, an over/under of 52.5 with the Ragin Cajuns favored by 8.5.
Yeah. So the scary thing about this, like this one was one of the harder DFS slates because you have all these players that might be playing.
That's all weekend long. Every slate, there's a couple guys where you need some clarity to kind of, finalize your roster. I don't know if it's just we're in November, we're at that point in the season where injuries are piling up, but you're going to have to pay attention up until kickoff to hopefully, get that update.
Well, you know what I did? Did you roster 2 quarterbacks?
I did. Yeah. But I didn't go your bully, Jack Plummer.
You keep fucking up here. All right.
Dude, he hasn't had over 11 fantasy points in 5 games. I'm sorry, over 15 fantasy points in like 5 games, and he's 8,800.
But he's the only solid play that is going to be good.
That is, well, I mean, he hasn't been good lately. That's my point.
Now, good enough. He doesn't he's never going to get you a flat 0. You know what I mean?
He's healthy. I agree with that, and it might be a good idea to fade the UVA defense. The 2 bad defenses on the slate. UVA, they rank 116th in allowing yardage per game, and Southern Miss ranks 127th. So I get it, I suppose, but he's too expensive. So my top guy, I'm gambling here. It's Ragin Cajun quarterback Chandler Fields.
I do have him. He is my other quarterback. All right. He's a dual threat guy.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been the starter most of the past 2 years, which is concerning, but
well, he's basically third string because Woolridge and Chris are out. So there's obviously it's a gamble, but he is going up against a really bad Southern Miss defense.
He played some last year too, man. He played some last year. Yeah.
It's not like he's a true freshman or anything. He's been around the block a little bit. So yeah, that's why I went him. And then my next guy is Calandria, the UVA quarterback for 5.8K. I'm assuming that Musket is not going to play. Musket was in a boot after getting that injury early in the first quarter last week. but this is something where you're gonna have to monitor it because right now his tag is questionable.
I'm assuming Jeff Brom will know how to stop the wheel route. Like, this is Calandria's. He's probably got 5 touchdown passes on the season, all on the wheel route.
Hey, he's got some legs, and UVA might be playing from behind. He might be put up 30 passing attempts or 40 passing attempts.
It's true.
I don't love the play, but he's cheap, and if he starts, I think
Battle of Bourbon on Plummer and your Calandria guy.
Plummer is $3,000 more expensive.
Well, you're the one that thinks he's not going to put up any points.
Well, I just think for that much money, they could have similar outputs. What if Plummer scores 5 more fancy points? 5 fancy points is not worth $3,000 in DFS.
On this quarterback slate, it might be. It might be. It's all about the fact that who else you're going against on the slate.
Yeah.
Running back wise, I only went 2.
I like the fact that we have a lot of differences already. Jawar Jordan, I think it's the most no-brainer.
Yep. Patty C was saying he might be the best running back in the nation, but there's a guy named Olive Garden over there at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and Olive Garden definitely has more rushing yardage so far, but I think there's a good chance Jordan hits over 1,000 in this game. He needs 119 yards to get to 1,000. So that's definitely in the cards here because he is one of the best running backs in the country.
I love the program talk here. Great football movie. Underrated. You always see people talk about a lot of the other like bullshit football movies.
Yeah,
Programs, one of the better ones.
What's the NFL one with Jamie Foxx? Any given
Sunday. I mean, yeah, that was kind of shitty. The Blind Side was the fucking worst.
That is the most overrated.
That was the worst fucking movie.
And the high school.
Remember
one
the Titans
Titans are the two most overrated movies.
There's a great article by the Washington Post about that one being just a Hollywood fluff piece and none of it being fucking accurate. My second running back. Now here's the question. I want a piece of this UVA run game.
Do you?
Because the wheel route is live.
Louisville has by far the best defense on the slate, coming in at 13th in the country, and they're good. They're even better defending the run than the pass. 8th in the country against the run.
Kobe Pace. Who is it that catches all those balls though? Let me just confirm. I know my computer might break. I'm looking for Virginia offensive football stats.
There's Pace and there's who's the other?
No one's clicked on this. No one's clicked on this since fucking Tiki Barber. Receiving though, it's Pace. Pace is that guy. So I'm loading up on Pace at 4,200
because he's the wheel route.
Yeah, dude, he's got 3 touchdowns. So like there are like 70 yards. So Calandria has only thrown 7, so half of his touchdowns are on the wheel route. Yeah, who'd you go with? Give me your second back.
So I got more money to spend because I didn't roster Plummer. So I got Frank Gore Jr. We've known him for a few weeks, now, for a few years now. Back-to-back games, over 100, 24 carries. Let me see what he did last year against the Ragin Cajuns because I think that was. Yeah, because they played each other last year. And maybe this will help my point or maybe it'll hurt it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll all see live. He went 23 for 87. So he didn't have a great game against Louisiana last year, but you see the volume is there, and that's why I went with him.
So who's your third back? Because I only rostered 2.
All right, so here I think it's important to fade the Southern Miss defense again. So I'm going with one of the 2 Louisiana running backs. I'm going Draylon Washington for 4.1K. On the season, he doesn't have as much touches as their main guy, but the last couple of weeks they've been like neck and neck here. So he's so much cheaper. I think I'm going to take a chance on Draylon Washington against that bad Southern Miss defense.
I might load up on both UVA's. I think I might pivot
both
right now.
UVA running backs, really? What about the Louisiana running backs? I'm talking about Jacob Cabody.
What's that price tag though? I only have 5,600.
I think you can get Obi-Wan Kenobi for that price. He's only 4,600. I mean, so both Louisiana running backs are dirt cheap.
All right, you sold me because I was going to go with the Louisiana wideout, but I can't. I don't have any faith in Chandler Fields passing the ball. You know, I was thinking Peter LeBlanc.
I roster Peter. Yes, let's jump into receiver here if we're done with running back.
All right, I'm going to stay with Peter LeBlanc because I like to pair my LeBlanc with another nice wideout.
We've been rostering LeBlanc for like 3 years now. He's been around Lafayette forever. And look, last week 6 for 129 and a touchdown. That'll do for 5.1K.
Yeah. And I'm on the other side of that game. Jacarius Caston. This guy's a stud. He's a stud for Southern Miss. So
he's on my all Sun Belt season-long fantasy league, a fantasy team. But the problem is that Southern Miss passing attack has been not so good this year, even though he should transfer because he is a good receiver.
They brought in a Clemson transfer, Billy Wiles, and it was the only time a Clemson transfer quarterback didn't work out. So I've named 2 of my wideouts. You name your second.
Okay, so I have the two very expensive. I think the 2 most expensive on the slate left again because I had all that extra money from not spending up a quarterback. So I'm going Jamari Thrash. If he
I got
plays.
him too. Yeah, monitor this. He's questionable right now. Monitor this.
Right. Yeah. To Robert Martin's point, talking about transfers, he transferred in from Georgia State, I believe it was a year ago.
Yeah.
He didn't play last week. He was a game time decision. So
he's a beast. He's a fucking beast. Yeah.
I tend to think if he was close to playing last week, he's going to play this week, but we'll have to see. And then my last guy, Patty C's boy, Malik Washington, UVA. I mean, you would think a defense would be keying in on him because he's by far the best option UVA has offensively, but the guy is absolutely crushing it. I think he's top 5 in the nation in yards and receptions.
But I feel like Tony Muskett knew how to get the ball down the field a little bit better than Calandria.
Well, I don't know. I think Calandria was taking. He likes to take shots. I mean,
to his running back. To his running back.
He's gonna throw some picks, but he's gonna throw the ball downfield too.
No. I went with Chris Bell,
my guy, the guy I rostered the last 2 weeks
at Yazoo City, Mississippi.
He had a good game last week, but my fear is that if Thrash plays, that's going to mean less targets for Bell.
Sure, but he's played pretty solid. What, 3 for 85 and a touchdown against NC State? Thrash played that game. 3 for 43 last week. No, Thrash did not play, but against Pitt, they both played 4 for 48 and a touchdown. I'll take it for that price.
Well, I like him because we talked about him the last 2 weeks now. Is that he's a deep threat. He's a big body receiver, and he can always break one. So I like the shot at it.
Yeah. I am. So that's my team. That's my roster. Just like that.
Let's do it.
All right, now let's jump on over to Friday night's action. I kind of liked my Friday roster. How about yourself?
Well, there was, I guess, a little less question marks as far as injuries. Not all the way because my top quarterback, and I have 2 of them, he also currently has a questionable tag. I'm talking about Preston Stone.
I would think he might get benched here. There might, not benched, but like tell him to take the night off because North Texas has been asked.
And then I think it's a pretty easy pivot to the backup, Kevin Jennings, because the one defense.
And what's his price?
He's 6.7K.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait and see because I went with 2 other quarterbacks until I find out.
The one defense you're looking to fade here is North Texas because they're giving up the most yardage per game in the country, 133rd in the nation. So that's really the only bad defense on the slate.
You might have to worry about game script.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be closer than expected.
I think so too, but I'm saying I'm taking the points, but I still think it's a concern because there has been performances mainly in September where North Texas just rocked.
Yeah.
Now I think they kind of understand their coach's identity and what he wants a little bit more. So,
well, hey, they're a 17-point dog for a reason. So I guess that is a concern, but I tend to think it's going to be closer than that.
Me too. Me too. But I went with my old pistol from Laramie, Andrew Peasley, 7,300. It's on the road, that little filthy stadium.
Yeah. We should mention the two games real quick. So it was North Texas SMU with an over/under of 67.5. Wyoming UNLV with an over/under of 51.5. I'm going to lean towards the American game rather than the Mountain West game, and that's why I went with Chandler Rogers, the quarterback for the Mean Green, at 8K. Care to do a little side bet? Peasley versus Rogers. Rogers is what, $700 more expensive? Did you have that money to spend?
I have 2,700 sitting there.
Well, there you go. So you think Peasley's going to have a better day than Rogers?
For how much? What was that price?
8K.
How about we battle Rogers? I'll raise you one higher against Jaden Mavia.
Oh, hold on. I thought you. Okay, so they're both your quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Okay, so this is great. So you went the two quarterbacks in the Mountain West game. I'm going the two quarterbacks in the American game. I will take you up on that side bet.
$900. I'm going to prove that I'm a fucking genius. All right, $900 difference.
I mean, you don't have. I think the Wyoming defense is better. So this is to your point here, because I know you love saying that stats can be meaningless. SMU statistically has a top 10 defense in the country.
Yes.
I'd say Wyoming's defense is better.
Yes, but I think Jaden Mavia, dual threat, and then Ricky White, the former Michigan State wideout, they're going to eat. I think regardless of whether it's Wyoming, like go look at their Fresno games, even the Michigan game. Well, actually, I think it was Brumfield that started the Michigan game, but Ricky White is going to get his. Last year they were ass. He's just a stud. So I got Mavia. Let's go.
Right. To Robert Martin's in the chat, he's kind of throwing out a bunch of players. The Washington game is on I think it's on the night slate or is on the day slate Saturday. So we'll get to there. And Brock Bowers, I think he's still out. I don't think he's playing this week.
Yeah, I think he's out until further notice.
You go 3 running backs?
I did.
Did you go our guy Harrison Waylee?
You're goddamn right, I did. UNLV hasn't really faced a power rushing attack besides Michigan, and that's how Michigan blew them out the water. I do expect Wyoming to be live to win this game, and I think the key is UNLV's played all these cha-cha-cha offenses. Harrison Waylee, but between the tackles, I think is where Wyoming wins the game.
Yep, he's had 4 games over 100 yards this season. Ran for $128 last week. Hasn't scored a touchdown in a few weeks. Positive touchdown regression candidate.
Yeah, shout out to Insano. It says, "What's up, guys?" Once again, folks, you can watch this YouTube.com/the college experience. Who's your second running back?
All right, so here I went with one of the guys from North Texas, and the North Texas backfield situation has been so hard the last 4 or 5 years. They got like 3 good running backs every year, and you don't know who's going to be the top guy from week to week. But I went Ayo Adeyi, and they all be split carries too. But this guy has back-to-back 100 rushing performances and 5 games over 100 on the season. So I tend to think he's the best running back on the roster. And I think North Texas is going to be able to do some things on the ground against SMU.
If they're losing, though.
But again,
that's the risk. That's the risk.
I see this game closer than expected.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I didn't roster a North Texas running back, though, because it's chaos back there. True. I went with Jalen Knighton from SMU.
Play the music. I'm on him as well.
Let's go. Robert Martin's also asking if Wyoming is a live dog. I say yes, yes, yes. And Insano is still mad that New York has no DFS. Unbelievable.
Can't he pop over into Jersey or something? And if Jersey has it legal, I mean, depending on where in New York he is.
Like, I know New Yorkers don't like to go to Jersey, but maybe you.
Maybe he's in Buffalo. Maybe he can pop over to Canada.
Yeah. Next up, my final running back. You have one more running back, right?
No, that's all 3 of mine. Okay. Waylee, Adeyi, and Knighton.
I was a fan of this guy when he was at Pitt. Vincent Davis. He's had quite the story here. This guy, he transferred to JMU for like and didn't even play at JMU, and then ends up at UNLV this year. I've always thought he was good, and he's having a pretty good season there with the Runnin Rebs. So I took a shot at him. One of the things I remember from that App State game is even though Wyoming's defense is solid, thought Nate Noel was getting some success against the Cowboys, defense there. So Vincent Davis was averaging almost 6 yards a rush this year. Now, I thought about going Donovan Lester, the backup, because he seems to be their goal line guy. Same with Jaden Thomas, but it's almost like the North Texas situation where they have three guys getting a decent amount of carries, but Davis seems to be the one who's kind of emerged out of all of them.
And he had 2 touchdowns last week also. So I like Davis. I was considering him as well. Ultimately, I picked Knighton over Davis because I wanted to focus most of my guys in the game that has a much higher total.
Yeah. Wideout wise, you better believe I would hope you rostered the absolute dog in Ricky White. And by the way, to think that Michigan State once had Ricky White, Keon Coleman, and a couple of those NFL wideouts now in the same receiver room.
Yeah.
Wait, who was the guy that got drafted? Wasn't he drafted by the Redskins?
From what team?
From Michigan State 2 years ago.
Hold
on. I got to look this up.
Michigan State 2 years ago?
Like in the past. Yeah. They had a really good wide receiver room.
By the Redskins?
I thought it was by the Redskins. I could be wrong.
Because they drafted that UNC receiver, Dynami Brown. Obviously, they drafted Dotson from Penn State.
No, it was the Packers. Jaden Reed in the second round.
Okay, I got
right. It. And they also had Jalen Naylor for the Vikings.
Okay,
right. So they had the receiver room with Jalen Naylor, Jaden Reed, Keon Coleman, and Ricky White. How the fuck were you not better?
That's not bad.
That's unbelievable.
Well, who was the quarterback? Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, Peyton Thorne. Unbelievable. Did you roster Ricky White?
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
I think he's best receiver on the slate.
Yeah. All right, next up, let's jump on over and talk about the next wideout. Who'd you go with here?
All right, so I'm done. So I only have one guy on UNLV, only one guy on Wyoming, and then everybody else is in the American. And SMU's favorite target, I'd say, and he's priced pretty damn cheap. Jake Bailey. He has the most catches on the team by a pretty wide margin, by about 8 catches. So 3.8K. Jake Bailey, too cheap.
Yeah, you know what? I think that makes more sense than my Wyoming tight end that I like to play every week. So I'm gonna pivot. So I'm on my final player then.
I am as well. Who you got?
I'm going with Jamori Macklin. From okay. I have $2,800 that I'm sitting on, by the way. At a Kirkwood, Missouri, Jamori Macklin.
Also the leading receiver for North Texas by a pretty wide margin.
Wait a second here. He's got to be the brother of
Jeremy Macklin. I would think so.
Yeah.
I can't confirm that, but
I don't. Yeah,
right.
I was trying to look up that.
Of course, that's a pretty wide age range. I mean, Macklin hasn't been in college for like 10 years, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, he was at Missouri. Yeah, he's the cousin of Jeremy Macklin.
There we go.
Okay,
we knew there had to be
the Macklin family. Dogs. All right.
All they do is produce receivers, right?
Yeah, stud wideouts. Let's go.
All right, so we're done here, right?
Yeah, let's move along.
We do have a side bet. You got your UNLV quarterback against my North Texas quarterback. So at least we got a side bet there, and we're moving on to Saturday.
Yep. And before we get to Saturday, I want to tell you that the College Football Experience Week 11 DFS show is brought to you by Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be that stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater near you with killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee. You can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun that you'll be having at that very event. All right? So what are you doing? Snag the tickets without the stress, people, with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, create that account, redeeming code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. They're going to remind you that if you're betting on the Tennessee Titans, that Curtis Duncan used to play for the Oilers, and he was a stud, they're going to dig deep and say, watch out, these wideouts. You want to play these wideouts. Haywood Jeffries too. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app.
I was more of an Ernest Givens guy personally.
Yeah. And you were later in his career, Webster Slaughter was added to that mix.
That's right. Coming over from the Browns.
Yeah. Use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start research and start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. And we can't forget the great Drew Hill. Rest in peace. Drew Hill would be so good today.
Yeah.
Because he was the undersized receiver. I feel like all those undersized guys would just destroy.
Right.
We were talking to Eric Metcalf about that. He was like, man, I wish I played in today's era. Can you imagine Metcalf with all that space?
For sure. Nasty.
I think he'd be in the Hall of Fame, dude. I think he'd be in the fucking Hall of Fame. That's how good I think.
He was kind of like Marshall Faulk, you know?
Yeah. But I just feel like nowadays game, the way that everything's spread out.
And Metcalf did play some running back before he moved pretty much all the way to receiver. But anywho.
Yeah, that was June Jones that moved him to wideout.
Yeah.
Before it was Belichick that was like, no, let's keep running it to him. That was before Belichick went pass. Yeah. He had Testaverde and he was like, no, we can't just drop him back. Let's jump over to Saturday morning.
Yep.
This was my favorite lineup, I think.
Agreed. Now, again, though, there's a couple injury concerns with my lineup. I'm gonna have to be paying attention right up to kickoff.
All right. Did you go 2 quarterbacks?
I did. Went pretty cheap also. My top quarterback, only 7.5K. John Reese Plumlee. I think UCF is a live small dog at home against Oklahoma State.
Agreed.
And whenever he's playing, I mean, the amount of points he can get with his legs just makes him a nice option.
How much was he?
7.5K. Side bet?
We might, because you could find me in the club.
Oh my! Right? You going back to Club Nick?
Dude, again, you know how bad Georgia Tech's defense is?
The matchup is better, but I'll take that all day. Club Nick versus Rice Plumlee?
Let's fucking go. And you better hope. I mean, actually, you know what? I have one that's better than Rice. You know what? Scratch that off. Noah Fifita at 6K is better than Rice Plumlee.
Play the music. I'm roster him too. So I will not make that bet.
My dog. Yes. Les Fifita. His father. Great guy. I know he's loving this success.
You know, on the Friday night slate, we mentioned the team with the worst defense in the country, allowing yardage per game. That's North Texas. Well, you know who's second worst? Your Colorado Buffaloes.
Well, and I don't know what's going on there with the Sean Lewis situation. I'm baffled. All right?
I think you got to get a couple guys from Arizona into your lineup, and it makes sense to go with a really cheap quarterback. Now, so circling back, do you want to do Plumlee versus Klubnik?
Okay, because you already have Fifita. I was going to say Fifita versus Plumlee, but since you rostered him, sure.
Right. Yeah.
Find me in the club.
All right.
Running back wise, I'm very curious to see what you did here. I went with the Olive Garden.
Of course, man. I mean, yeah, his go ahead, play the music.
Those breadsticks, they're free when you're handing the ball off to Olive Garden. I'm talking about Ollie Gordon II, absolute beast.
It's going to be chalky as hell. His price is slowly rising up. It was 7.2 last week. Now it's 7.9, but still under 8K. I think you have to roster him.
Yeah. I also took the running back on the other side of that. RJ Harvey, Rocky Harvey. He's a beast too. 6,700.
He is a beast. I don't have him in my lineup, but I like to play. I always like to play with him. But I'm focused on Plumlee, so I couldn't really fit both of them in there. But I like it. But my third guy, I'm guessing you probably have him too. But Mekhi Hughes for Tulane. at 5.8K? No.
You know what though?
I made 5 straight games over 100 yards playing.
I think you just sold me because
awful.
I had a fourth wideout, and I hate doing that. I hate doing that.
Oh yeah,
I'm a run first type of guy here. Let's go. Where is he? 58. You said
5,800.
I see him. Yeah, Tulsa's terrible. Let's do that.
And
Worry about great game script a little bit.
True, but Tulane hasn't really been blowing people out. That might change Saturday. We'll see. And I got one more running back. Are you done?
Those are my 3: Harvey, Olive Garden, and Hughes.
My last guy is only 4.3K, and this is one where I'm going to have to pay attention to the injury status. But Michael.
Hold on, you broke up there. What happened? You still there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, back. Okay, got you now. Say it. Michael who?
Michael Wiley, the running back for Arizona. I'm guessing he's not going to play. And if he doesn't, Jonah Coleman for 4.3K makes a lot of sense.
He might even be better than Wiley.
He ran for almost $150 against USC a few weeks ago. So
yeah,
he might be able to get his regardless. But if Wiley's out, then Jonah Coleman makes a ton of sense for a very cheap price against a very bad defense.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, my top wideout. You can't lock down. Look, Travis Hunter's going to be on one of these guys. I think he's going to be on Jacob Cowing because he's their leading receiver reception wise. But Noah Fifita is going to ball out, and his high school teammate Tetora McMillan, 5-star. Yeah, absolute dog. They're wideouts. This offense is fun as shit to watch. They got guys.
Yeah, so that's the third Arizona Wildcat that's on my roster. So, like I said, I mean, you want to fade this Colorado defense, but he wasn't my most expensive receiver.
Oh,
Luther Burden, 6.9K if he plays.
I needed to know what the hell was going on with him.
Currently questionable. We'll see. He might be a game time decision. You know, if you're not getting an update an hour before kickoff, maybe you go to someone else. But I just think whenever you can get Luther Burden for under 7K, if he plays, it's a home run.
Well, I'm going to take a shot on Theo Weiss Jr. as my final wideout, the former Oklahoma Sooner. Look, but Burden, even if he plays, he might be dinged up. All the attention going there. Theo Weiss saying, "Give me the ball." Brady Cook.
I mean, I like it, especially if Burden doesn't play. And for me, if I get news Burden isn't playing, I'll probably pivot off of Burden onto Weiss.
All right, that's our roster, right?
Nope, I got one more receiver, 5.1K, Rashad Owens, Oklahoma State Cowboy, 10 for 136 last week. He had the game against Cincinnati. I don't think he was really needed, and he had a quiet game. But other than that, he's had like four out of the last 5 games. He's been the top pass catcher for the Cowboys. So I like points in that Cowboys and UCF game.
Fair. I like it. As I got UCF knocking them off. But all right. Shout out to Nags, who says he's on a quick work break, but he never catches you live. But he catches us on replay religiously. Shout out to Nags.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Bob Martin also in the chat talking about the under in the Georgia game. Let's get to Saturday night. I did 2 quarterbacks again. I think you might enjoy these quarterbacks I played.
Quarterback was an interesting spot here. I have 2 as well, but depending on injury news, I might change mine. So let me just give you my 2 right now, then I'll explain as to why. So right now I have Dylan Gabriel at 9.2K, and on the other side of the same game, I have Garrett Green at 8.5K. And the thing I want to know, so that's a total of 17.7K. But if I hear that Jaden Daniels is playing, I think I'm going to pivot to the 2 quarterbacks in that game. Jaden Daniels for 10.3K and Graham Mertz for 7.1K.
Graham Mertz is my quarterback. I keep playing this
2 weeks
asshole.
in a row?
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row.
LSU's defense sucks.
They're one of the worst defenses in the nation.
Yeah, so I'm kind of debating on which 2 quarterbacks I'm going to go with. But I'm going to do one or the other.
You know who my other quarterback is?
Who's that?
I talked about this. Texas's pass defense sucks. Josh Hoover vacuum as a freshman is going to throw for a good amount of yards. They have the wideouts. They have the home game. They have the matchup. I know he sucked on the road.
What's his price?
7,300.
So you got Mertz. Okay, so you're saving some money. So I'm, I don't know. I'm worried about the Texas pass rush a little bit. I'm just worried about a really young quarterback in a big game.
Fair, but both quarterbacks are very young in that matchup. Yeah,
right.
So you might get some cheap points because TCU forces a strip sack.
Okay. All right. I like it. I'll be curious as to what the rest of your lineup looks like because you are saving money at quarterback where I'm spending up. Did you go 3 running back?
I did. Top price running back Travion Henderson.
Play the music. Play the music.
Out of the great state of Virginia. How did you whiff on this? I bet you Travion Henderson sitting there saying, I wish I went to James Madison.
What city is he from?
That's a good. Is
it Southern Virginia? Is it
Let
Northern?
me pull that up. You know Blake Corum is too, right?
Yes.
He's from Hopeville, Virginia. He went to Hopeville High School. Travion Henderson.
Okay. Is that near Richmond? Maybe. I don't know.
Let me see if I can find this on a map. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Down there. Prince George County.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha. Well, it makes a ton of sense because I think we've seen Ohio State kind of transition from a passing team to a running team with a strong defense. And he's been crushing it lately ever since he came back from injury.
Yeah. And by the way, Blake Corum from Marshall, Virginia.
Okay. Northern Virginia.
Where the hell is that? Yeah.
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 We are Marshall.
That's West Virginia, buddy.
Huh?
He's Fauquier County, Virginia.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. Anyway, yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean we are Marshall. I meant remembering the Titans. Isn't Marshall the?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
That's what.
But when you said we are Marshall, I was like, that's Huntington, West Virginia. What are you fucking talking about?
My mistake.
I have another running back, CJ Donaldson. You know I like to play my boy out of Miami, Florida.
Well, that's funny. That's funny because I have a West Virginia running back, but it's not CJ Donaldson. My next 2 running backs are dirt cheap. I'm going with his backup, the true freshman. This guy is electric. Dare I say he's more talented than CJ Donaldson. Now, he won't get the touches because Donaldson is still very good himself. But Jaheim White just went 16 for 146 last week. Now, that was kind of in a blowout over BYU. But even the week before that against UCF, 9 for 85 and a touchdown. I think West Virginia has to get this guy the ball because he is their future.
Okay. I mean, we got a little battle there.
I'm not saying he's going to outscore Donaldson. I'm just saying for a cheap price, I like the chance at a gamble on him.
I'm going to take you to Norman, other side of that game. This kid's a freshman out of Littleton, Colorado. You piece of shit. You go to Oklahoma.
Oh, man.
Over the Buffs. He must have not realized that Prime was coming. Gavin Sawchuk though, he's a baller.
I'll play the
5 yards a rush. Okay.
He's the other really cheap running back.
It's not too late to transfer. All right. It's not too late to transfer to a real winner. All right.
Again, the only problem is that they're going to have about 3 guys that get touches. So, he's not going to have a high volume, but you just hope maybe he breaks one. There should be a bunch of points and yardage in that Oklahoma West Virginia game.
Yeah. Yeah. Wideout wise, before we get out of here, 3 wideouts. My top price wideout is Ricky Pearsall, former Arizona State Sun Devil. I want as many wideouts against that shitty LSU secondary as you can load up with.
I like this. So what's his price?
6,700.
I'm going to go the other Florida receiver who's really coming on lately, Eugene Wilson. He went 8 for 90 and 2 touchdowns last week. Game before that, 11 for 75 and a touchdown. I think he's kind of taken over wide receiver 1. And if you want to do another side bet, we'll do the battle of the Gator wide receivers.
Load it up, buddy.
All right. I'd like Pearsall too, though. I mean, Pearsall's a baller.
Yeah. My second wideout is he's a fine lad. Lad McHonky.
Oh man, play the music again. Jeez.
All right. If you have my third wideout, I'm gonna send you spam mail for fucking the rest of the day. Taking you back to Norman, where Devin Carter, the former NC State Wolfpack wideout, he's Garrett Green's top dog. Get him the ball at $5K. He's underpriced. What do you think of that one?
What's his price?
$5K.
You know what? For $100 more, I went Anaya Smith for Texas A&M, especially with Evan Stewart banged up. He has emerged last couple of weeks, 6 for 83, 6 for 118 and a touchdown. Give me Anaya Smith over Devin Carter.
Another battle of bourbon?
Yeah, why not? Let's go.
Load it up. All right. Let's fucking go. Folks, that's
Devin
our
Carter's
show.
a traitor.
Got out of that bullshit team in
Raleigh.
Raleigh.
You went from Raleigh to Morgantown. That's a downgrade.
He wanted to have fun for a change. All right.
Well, actually, if you're in college, it's probably an upgrade. True.
Yeah. He saw the scattered ass out there and he said, what am I doing? All right. Folks, appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to the College Football Experience, available on iTunes, Spotify, all that. Please get on over there. Give us a 5-star review. Last one we got was a 1-star review where they said a bunch of dumbasses. I'll own it. But hop on over there. Give us a 5-star review. Feel free to call us a dumbass. And also subscribe to the College Basketball Experience. Every night, myself, Moneyline Mac, Noah Beanick, NC Nick, Patty C, Terrell Furman Jr. We're going to be just rattling off college basketball. Season just started. And if you haven't been with us throughout the years, we're here every single night of the season talking college hoops. Subscribe over there. And speaking of college hoops, Sports Gambling Podcast is coming up next in about 15 minutes. We're talking college basketball for tomorrow's slate. Arizona hitting Cameron Indoor Stadium. Woo! The Vols heading up there to Madison, Wisconsin. You got some primetime matchups. San Diego State going to Provo. What is it? Virginia and Florida doing battle. Penny Hardaway taking on the Missouri Tigers. Dennis Gates. It's going to be fantastic, folks. So stick around as we jump right over there to that. Give NC Nick a follow. We invite you to play DFS with us. He's on Twitter at NC__NICK. He'll tweet out the invite and I'll retweet it from the College Football Experience account, TCE on SGPN. Also, I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. Give us a follow. And also, subscribe to the College Football Experience, the FCS College Football Experience, the College Basketball Experience, the College Baseball Experience, the Big 12 Experience with Moneyline Mac. And make sure you check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'll be back also in about 3 hours with the College Football Weekend Bombs with CJ Sullivan, the host of the Bombs Down Under podcast. Check out that as well. And remember, Sports Gambling Podcast live from Las Vegas every Friday. VSiN Network. All right. You get YouTube TV. You got VSiN, VSIN, Brent Musburger's network. Check it out every Friday at 9:00 Pacific, midnight Eastern. Until next time, folks, this is the College Football Experience. Week 11 DFS previewed picks. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.